Okay, so these are going to be the answers to your log problems, alright? So this is strictly to check to make sure you know what you're doing and you got the right answer. If you're still confused, then unfortunately you just need to watch this several times. Alright, here we go. So number one, it says to evaluate for x. You want to solve for x. So first things first, you need to change it so that you know what x is supposed to be. So 5 to the x is equal to 25. We know that 5 squared is 25, so x is equal to 2. Same for number 2. You switch it. So x cubed is equal to 1,000. Well, I know that 1,000 is a base of 10, and there's 3 zeros, so that means that x had to be 10. Number 3 was a repeat question. Number 4, same thing. You would do 3 to the negative 4 equals x. Alright, 3 to the 4th is 81. The negative makes it a fraction, so it'd be 1 over 81 equals x. If you didn't know that, type that in your calculator so you know the answer. Okay, in this case, it's going to be 19 to the x equals 1. We learned that anything to the 0 power equals 1, so x must be 0. Alright, those are pretty simple. I think most of you are doing pretty well with that. Second half. In this case, we're expanding or condensing. So we're using our log properties. Remember that if it's addition, that means you're multiplying, and if it's subtraction, it means you're dividing. Okay, so in this case, we're multiplying, so we're going to split it with addition. The powers, the little numbers, always come to the front. So it's going to be 2 log base 3r plus 5 log base 3t. Okay? The second one's division, so we're going to subtract. So it's going to be 5 log 2x minus 3 log 2y. Okay? Number 8 is addition, so I'm going to multiply 6 times 2x. So I'm just writing it as 1 log, so it'll be log of 12x. It doesn't have a base because the base is an imaginary 10. On number 9, I'm subtracting, so it's going to be division, so it'll be log 3x over 2, because it's division. Number 10 is multiplication again, so it's going to be log 3x squared. Okay? So hopefully you know how to do that. If not, rewatch what I just did, or go online and research properties of logarithms. Alright, solving logarithms. Now, in this case, everything should be an x equals answer. So number 11, first things first, it's adding, so I need to condense it. So I'm going to do log of 8x equals 2. There's an imaginary 10 there, so then I do my loop trick. So I get 10 squared is equal to 8x. So that's 100 equals 8x. So I divide by 8. Always divide by the number in front of the x. So x is equal to 25 over 4. Okay? Leave things in fraction form, that's totally fine. Number 12 is subtraction, so I'm going to divide 2 by x. So I'm going to have log 2 divided by x equals 1. Again, this is a 10, so then I'm going to switch it. So I'll have 10 to the 1 equals 2 over x. In this case, you can cross multiply, so I can put this over 1, cross multiply, so I have 2 equals 10x, right? So then I would divide by 10. So x would equal 2/10, which is the same thing as 1/5. Okay? On number 13, you're going to multiply 7 times x. So I'm going to have log 7x is equal to log 35. Then we learned that if the logs match, they cancel out because they're equal to each other. So 7x is equal to 35. So x has to be 5. Okay? Number 14, you're going to condense it first. So I'm going to do 2 times 4. So I'm going to have log base 8 of 8x squared equals 1. At this point, I'm going to switch it. So I'm going to have 8 to the 1 is equal to 8x squared. 8 to the 1 is just 8, so I can go ahead and just divide by 8 on both sides. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So I get 1 equals x squared. I would square root. So x is equal to technically plus or minus 1. Okay. On number 15, I'm going to multiply, because I want to multiply this times this. So I'm going to get log base 9 of x squared plus 6x equals log base 9 of 2. The logs match, so I can cancel out the logs. So I get x squared plus 6x equals 2. It's a quadratic, so that means that I have to solve it like a quadratic. So I'm going to subtract the 2 over. So I get x squared plus 6x minus 2 is equal to 0. And I feel like I did something wrong. Did I do something wrong? Addition, then multiply x squared minus 6x. And then you would have to solve that using the quadratic formula. There's nothing like that on your test, so don't worry about that one. You'd have to keep going. I'll come back to that one. I feel like I did something wrong. We'll figure it out. Alright, second one. Number 16, same thing. You would have to do this times this. I'm going to FOIL those together. So we get 8x squared minus 8x minus x plus 8. So we get x squared minus 9x plus 8. And that's still a logarithm. I was just doing the FOILing. So then I would switch it. So I would have 2 cubed is equal to x squared minus 9x plus 8. Then this is really just 8. So I would subtract 8, be left with 0 equals x squared minus 9x. So then I would factor out the x. So x is equal to x minus 9. So x is equal to 0, and x is equal to 9. Okay? Both of these problems, the quadratic ones, are not on your test tomorrow, so don't be too fretful over those. Okay? More problems like number 12, number 13, and number 11. Those are the ones you should really focus on for the test. Alright. The bottom set, same thing. You're going to switch it first. That is a 6, I believe. So you're going to do 6 to the 1 is equal to 7t plus 13. So then I would subtract 13 from this side, subtract 13 here. So I get negative 7 is equal to 7t. Divide by 7, divide by 7, negative 1 equals t. Okay? On this one, you're first going to divide by 3, divide by 3. So I get log base 8 of u minus 1 is equal to 2/3. Okay, so then I'm going to switch it. Even though that's a fraction, you have a calculator, so it's not a big deal. So I'm going to do 8 to the 2/3 is equal to u minus 1. 8 to the 2/3 I know is the cube root of 8 squared, so that's 4. Again, if you didn't know that, type that in your calculator. I would add 1, so 5 is equal to u. Okay? On this one, I'm going to do this times this, and it's subtraction. So I'm going to have log base 5 of 9x, that's next, plus 2, divided by 3x plus 8 equals 2. Is that what I messed up on the last one? Maybe so. Okay? Then I'm going to switch it. So I'm going to have 5 squared is equal to 9x plus 2 divided by 3x plus 8. At this point, this is really 25, right? And that's 25 over 1. So again, you're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to have 9x plus 2 is equal to 25 parentheses 3x plus 8. So then I get over here 75x plus, what's 8 times 25? That would be 200. So that would be plus 200. Still equals over here 9x plus 2. Then I would get solve for x. So I'm going to cancel smallest x by subtracting 9x. So I get 66x. Over here I'm going to subtract 200, so 66 is equal to negative 198. So then I divide by 66, so x is equal to negative 3. Again, those are longer problems. They're more just to challenge you a bit. That problem and the quadratic ones most likely will not be on your test tomorrow. Okay? Then, for review, we have several of these formulas where we have to figure out the new amount. So remember, C stands for the original amount. A is the new. R is rate, and T is time. So in this case, it says Dirk Nowitzki is a machinist. He bought some new machinery for $125,000. He wants to calculate the machinery over the next 10 years. If it depreciates, meaning it gets smaller by 15%, what is the new value? So remember, you've just plugged in the numbers. So 125,000 times 1 is depreciating, so it's minus 0.15 to the 10. Okay, you're going to run that through your calculator. I've already done it on my calculator, so I know that the answer should be 24,609.30. Okay, I just typed this directly into the calculator. Okay, same thing for number 21. It says you want to invest $2,500 in an account that pays you interest at 8.25%. So that you want to find the balance after 6 years. So I'm going to say 2,500, which is my initial amount, 1 plus, in this case, 0.0825 to the 6, because I'm adding money to my account. And I end up with $4,022.61. Okay? Then, last two problems, stay with me. So in this case, we're solving quadratic. So we're doing your m and your a. So m is 36, a is 12. So I get x plus 6 equals 0. So when I set them both equal to 0, it doesn't really matter that I do it twice because it's the same problem, so I would subtract 6. So x is equal to negative 6. Okay? Over here, what multiplies to 42 and adds to negative 1? Well, that would be negative 7 and 6. So I do x minus 7, x plus 6 equals 0. Switch the sign, so x is equal to 7, x is equal to negative 6. Okay? Now, if you have any questions about any of this, you can email me or you can tweet me at Miss K. Wilkie. We're going to try that in my second period. You can tweet me questions, and I will try to answer them as best I can through Twitter. We'll see how that goes. Okay? Like I said, the problems that seem really long, like the quadratic ones, those aren't really on your test. It's pretty simple, and as long as you kind of understand what's going on, I think you'll be fine. Alright? Watch this several times if you were lost. Sorry for talking so fast, but I didn't want it to be like 1,000 minutes. Okay? Have a good night. See you on Wednesday.